The dungeon was very good. All the stuff that we learned afterwards, also very good. So much already that I'm just so hyped about. And seeing everybody in their cute little adventurers outfits running around makes me so happy. It's like we've all just gone back to our roots. While I am loath to keep Kryle waiting much longer, I cannot bring myself to leave before hearing more of Vrtra's tale. Big same. I need every little tiny tidbit of dragon lore that we can get. 'Twas a most enjoyable expedition, for which I am grateful. As for mine evaluation, I shall impress upon the Loporrits that a treasure vault is incomplete without daunting sentinels to test the mettle of any would-be intruders. Anybody else in this crowd? There's Estinian and Ishola. Vrtra speaks as if Ashdaya is a lost cause, but I wager he feels differently in his heart of hearts. There is much about the Voidgate that I cannot even begin to explain. I must convince Vrtra to share everything he knows. Anything else? I think we got everybody. Alright. So many people in the game again! It's so exciting to see! It was quiet there for a little bit. I promise we will discuss the Voidgate further, but first I must attend to the matter of the Vault Sentinels. As your instruments have no doubt informed you, the Capicolo has been reduced to so much scrap. Please bring a new one out of storage and see that it is conveyed to its post along with some few lesser constructs. Was it tomb robbers? Fiends born of the Tower of Zot? By the sisters, do not tell me a blasphemy at roams free. Yeah, it was us. We did it. Everybody just like... Oh, my bracer is so interesting. Oh, it's loose maybe. It's coming loose. Oh, I'm thinking about this home campaign this homebrew that I'm working on. Why such guilty faces? Surely it isn't you who are responsible for this. Oh. Well, the details aren't important. I shall see it done immediately. I do just like watching this tiny child boss everybody around. It's very good. And with that, the vault will soon be secure once more. Now, I believe you had questions? Quite a few, in fact. But I'd like to begin with the gate itself. It is still functional, yes? Indeed, which is why I saw it sealed with an alchemically forged lock and warded it with my magics. Such power must not fall into the wrong hands. In truth, the primary reason for the vault's construction was to keep the gate hidden from the outside world. So much effort for such a little door. That little door you speak of leads to an abyss teeming with unspeakable horrors. That said, in its current state, it would admit only the lowliest of voidsent, and from this side no man would be able to pass through. No man? I should think Alphino would fate given a firm enough push. He's small. Just shove him right in. Physical size is only one consideration. The true restriction hinges upon the etheric density of the soul in transit. And yet, you succeeded in expanding this diminutive portal and sending your simulacrum to the 13th. Thanks to my brilliant alchemists, I should have destroyed the anomaly when I found it, but instead I bade them devise a means to control it. After much experimentation, they accomplished the impossible. A method was conceived by which my magics could manipulate the fissure and transform it into a serviceable gate, but the process has long since been forgotten. Once I had given up searching for Ashdaya, there it is. There was no need to preserve such esoteric and dangerous knowledge. Thus has the gate lain dormant for years uncounted. Our own passage to the 13th was made relatively simple thanks to the Crystal Tower. An ancient mechanism channeled the tower's vast stores of energy to open a void gate, one bound to a covenant made with the Cloud of Darkness. Once that sovereign entity was beaten back, however, the covenant was broken, and the doorway severed from its connection to the void. Theoretically, it should be possible to reconnect the gate by forging a new pact with another void sent, but such deals usually end in betrayal and death. In any case, we should attempt to gain an understanding of the Bounty Gate. Mayhap you could resume the search for your sister. As I have already explained, I put those futile hopes to rest centuries ago. My place and my duty is here now. I had meant to ask, what prompted you to search for the vault in the first place? It was all Estinian's idea. No, I'm not gonna pin it on him. The Shola moment was more than worth it. To see if the legends were true. As you have seen, the fabulous wealth from the stories is quite real, if not its rumored origin. But I'm afraid I must assert a prior claim. I've been adding to that trove for years, little by little, but the time has come to spend it, that I might alleviate my people's suffering. Then we are of one mind. We had no intention of taking it for ourselves. Isn't that right, my friend? We were going to do good stuff with it, I promise. Just a little for ourselves, but mostly to help people. But maybe also to get a new house in the housing ward. Your Excellency, would you object if I were to conduct a closer examination of the gate? I will make no attempt to open it, of course. I owe you and yours a debt that can never be repaid. Whatever boon you ask of me, you shall have it. You are most gracious. I shall take full advantage of your permission. Would that I could join thee in thy study, but the Loperates will be anxious to receive my report. I beg my leave of you. And I must be off to Charlian as well. Mistress Kryle was eager to speak with you about that request, so please come back to the annex as soon as you are able. Farewell for now. Okay, so wait, hold on. Maybe that request is the 24-man raid, but also we will get a Kryle adventure later. Because I've been wondering, like, the 24-man raid this time unlocks through the main story quest, so you do have to get to a certain point in the main story quest, and then you'll be able to go ahead and do the 24-man. We can discuss my findings once I return. You'll not be rid of me so easily. Oh, it was a nice little reunion with our friends. I'm glad we got to do it. You may now undertake the Chronicles of a New Era quest series. Miss of the Realm, hey, there it is. Speak with a fresh-faced student at the Baldessian Annex to accept the first quest. I'm glad they told you that because I was kind of over here wondering, like, when does that unlock? Is it gonna tell me? I don't know. I guess we'll see. I hope you enjoyed the expedition at least. Otherwise, it was a heavy purse to pay for a treasure map leading to a treasure we couldn't keep. I've got some money, Estinian. I will make sure you do not end up destitute. The difficult part in all this will be deciding how to best put these riches to use. Will you lend me your assistance in these deliberations? Anything to make up. Anything to make up for the constructs we broke. Then think of your employment as recompense. Serve me as guest advisors, and I will consider the broken constructs paid for in full. Arden and I are in this together. I will follow her example. So we're now gonna pay it forward, and we're gonna help out here, and then how is this all gonna, like, what's the pace here? How are they gonna dole this all out? Meanwhile, elsewhere, maybe I'm about to get answers. Are we back to that weird figure in the void? New zones in the void? A throne in the void? There isn't some, like, weird reflection of Xanda that's in here, is there? It's the figure from the trailer! I've got to kill chaos! Is that what we're dealing with? This is so interesting! those different elemental aspects? It seems like it, right? But if they have control over them, then why let this world remain in darkness like this? This looks very much... I'm just over here like, who are you? What are you doing in the void? Throne of Earth, I sense the breaching of a gate, but it was not instigated from this side. 'Twas thrown open from the other. The thrones. These, like, rulers of each of the realms that were overtaken or something? I don't know. Tinfoil hat time is a go. I too felt it. A rare occurrence, yes, but such a tiny portal is beneath our notice. There are more pressing matters at hand. An opportunity is upon us, the coming of which we have waited for nigh on 10,000 years. We dare not let it slip from our grasp. We've got what? Earth, fire, wind, water. Yet we must not underestimate she who bested the cloud of darkness. Even restrained by a covenant, the cloud was no feeble wisp to be dispersed by some flesh and blood mortal. Bah, let her come. I will drown the world and watch this fleshling gasp for breath in her final moments. New big bad? Your zeal is admirable, but forget not our cause. Think back on our struggles beneath this sunless sky. Remember why we cede not our will to fight. 'Tis time we set the war in motion and win redemption for our star. Set the war in motion and win redemption for our star? One, I feel like that visage should have been iconic to me, and it has flown over my head, but I will probably catch up on what we think this is and rewatch the scene and figure everything out, right? So we had a knight dressed in black. We have these thrones that are different elements. We have darkness, the world of, you know, the world of darkness, right? But the void. Have they all been consumed? Like, the difference is that darkness, or, you know, as like an elemental aspect, right, as we've learned, is about activity. So Void Scent do seem to have more awareness, more personality. They speak, as opposed to Sin Eaters, which are, again, born of a really stagnant element. Is it possible that, like, those who were warped in the Void were warped in such a way that they still retain sentience? Is it possible that somebody has very much kept the star the way it is because it changed power in such a way that they were able to, like, rule over the entire thing? What are they trying to do? Win salvation? Are they trying to save their star themselves? But, like, how so? Many, many questions. I hope you enjoyed the expedition at least. Oh, right, we did that one. Shall we begin? If we are to spend the treasure wisely, then we must first determine which groups would benefit most from monetary assistance. Some of my citizens may find it intimidating to speak with the satrap directly, so I would ask that you act in my stead. Arden, you are to visit Akyali and Yerleman. Speak with Matya and his people, and listen to their grievances. Istinian, I bid you do the same at Palakistan. I will be conducting my own inquiries at the Giant Skull grounds. Once you believe you have ascertained the needs of the populace, we can reconvene at Megaduta. How are we gonna share this wealth? Well, I know of a new housing ward that just opened up, and I'm just saying. Okay, so we'll go back to Akyali, And then we have another one that we need to do after that, I think we said. How long will this patch be? Usually it takes what? Okay, normally it takes people 4 to 5 hours. It takes me like 8 because of how much I read and I talk and I theorize and I cackle and I make bad jokes and I do my own humble attempt at voice acting. Thank you all for bearing with it. I apologize. My dialects are not so accurate nor so good, but we give it our best effort. Give it our best. It's daytime now. My gosh, it's so beautiful here in the daytime. It's nice to get to spend some more time in these zones and just kind of go around and get more story. Follow up on everything. Okay. Oh, we gotta go over here. Oh, I think it just hasn't popped in yet. Soon it will. You know, as I look at this platform over there, I still have not done the special fight in this zone, the S rank.
Oh, Arden, I was so glad to see you had returned unharmed. You finished with the boat then? Anything the village desperately needs? Well, I suppose Kalzol's loss hit us the hardest. I've been trying to find buyers for my fish, but although I sell a few here and there, and you did such a bad job of it, but you did sell one, it's so much more difficult than it was before. Everyone's still struggling to rebuild their lives. For now, we're just banding together as best we can. I liked leaving the selling to Kalzol. I could just catch the fish and not have to talk people into eating them.
I mean, the good thing is that, you know, now that trade routes are open and importing goods are more of a thing again, I mean, in theory, getting the trading lines back up and running and people in place that can handle that like Kalzol did shouldn't be impossible, right? Whereas before it was so treacherous and so perilous and people really weren't willing to take the risk that it kind of halted everything. Okay. It's over here. Oh, it's down here.
Greetings and welcome, traveler. If this is your first visit to Thavnair, then you must try my special Amrad Lassi. Its refreshing zest cannot be beat. What could such a wonder cost, you wonder? Normally I part with 3 bottles for the generous price of 19,800 gil, but for you, I am willing to go as low as an even 10,000. You would be practically stealing from me. I am not Estinian. Estinian? Who is... Oh, you're the one who was with that spear-touting fellow. Well, you can hardly blame a man for trying. The world may no longer be on fire, but we are still sifting through the ashes, so to speak. Sisters, spare me, we might as well have that ugly tower back for the scant few travelers we see these days. I myself have the coin to buy at local prices. I tell you, if I didn't charge the odd adventurer a small fortune for afternoon tea, I'd be scavenging for scraps in the street.
Okay, so things haven't totally opened, which I guess it does make sense. I mean, people are around and people and trade routes can be established again at this point, I think, but it is fair to say that many places were hit hard by the calamity, and so, like, literally just trying to get their own buildings, people, livelihoods back in order is probably really difficult. Guild staff. What?
How fares the port? Well, it's in shambles, isn't it? The trade routes are open once more now that the danger has passed, certainly. But no small number of merchants have had to sell their ships to make ends meet in the short term. Add to that the sailors we lost in the final days, and it's little wonder the flow of exports is no more than a pitiful trickle. If Khazal and his consortium were still with us, I'm sure he'd have found a way to turn our fortunes around. Now that was a man who got things done. God's rest his soul.
Varshan awaits our report. Alright, Varshan, let's meet you back in the city. Oh, probably over here. Oh, he wants to actually meet him back at his house. Okay, we'll go back there. His house, I guess, is technically where his actual body resides, which is good because I do want to see his beautiful dragon face. I wonder how his sister looks. Ajdaya, like, we have to see her at some point, right? We have to. Feels like she's gonna be a character in the next expansion, if the expansion actually takes us to the Void. Like, it is more and more and more seeming like it will, right? And maybe we will get some more, just, I don't know, smaller scale adventures between then, but like have this ongoing thing that's happening. Let's Ethernet over to Megaluta. See what I mean? You just can't not sing it. I will, even on raid nights, I'll be sitting in the city and I'll be, if I have my music on, everybody will be getting ready and I'm like, everybody's like, ready, check? I miss it. I'm singing. I'm just having my own good time. Making my own party. There's this Dinian.
'Twould seem my stint on Vrtra's back did not go unnoticed. I couldn't take 2 steps before another Thavnarian was thanking me profusely for saving their home.
That's a good thing, Estinian. You've become a true hero now.
Ah, my advisor's return. I've just made it back myself. Why do you retain this vessel now that your true form is known? You could have flown across the island in a fraction of the time.
I mean, also, though, he is huge. This is much easier to, like, maneuver around in. And most of the cities have been designed for people, not dragons, so...
Be that as it may, the sight of a massive creature descending from the sky can be startling to say the least. And there are few places I can enter comfortably without risk of flattening some cart or stall.
Or it's just like, that's rough, buddy.
Fair enough. As for my inquiries, the people of Palakistan were unanimous in their reply. They are surviving. Resources were stretched to the limit when refugees were pouring in, but they persevered with some assistance from Yedlimard. From what I understand, they have always been an independent community, hunters and foragers and the like, and I was assured that the jungle provides for their needs, for the most part. Palakistan has weathered the disaster better than most, it seems. I myself heard news good and bad. The quarrymen were cautiously optimistic, having just sold a full wagon of giant skull to a foreign trader. But such visitors are few and far between. Compared to our best years, the weight of stone leaving Thavnair has been light indeed. Our nation is small and isolated, its prosperity dependent on a steady stream of exports. We must identify any obstacles to the flow of trade so that we may begin working to remove them. Tell me, what did you learn in Akyali and Yedlimod? I see. Without a dedicated buyer, the average fisherman must struggle to offload his daily catch. Which is why I believe we should first address the lack of ships and shortage of able-bodied sailors in Yedlimad. I am reminded of a child I spied as I made my way back to the palace. His father lost at sea when the beast sunk their vessel. So many variations of the same tragic tale, repeated over and over. So many lives lost.
So many sad people everywhere.
Enough grief to drown in if we let ourselves be overcome. But we will not.
Arden, Estinian, I will consider the perspectives you've brought me, and devise a plan to help my people confront this adversity. Come, I would like you to be in attendance when I announce the proposal to my assembled functionaries.
What are you gonna do? Are we gonna get to see him actually speaking as himself to them? We totally are. This is a new beautiful era for dragon and mankind, and the peoples of the world.
Let's all make dragon friends.
And he just living out there in the open. He can go in and out of those doors now. I want to have a feast in this hall with him.
For your attendance.
Voice acted.
The riches the radiant host have retrieved were hoarded in Al-Zadar's name. A fortune I set aside for a future day of need.
And I'm so glad that they gave us that armor for the tombstones.
May it aid our wounded city in reclaiming its vibrancy and vigor. In better times, I would leave such a task to our capable Ahawan. God's rest his soul.
That scene was so
Finding
brutal.
myself bereft of his counsel in the here and now, I will assume the responsibilities of mine office directly. Firstly, the
His body's still all bloody. He needs to heal up.
Thence, invested into the trading port of Yedlamad. Our merchants must have their operations restored, their ships rebuilt. Commerce must flow once more. None were spared the tragedy of the final days. Of this, I am well aware. But an absence was created by the loss of Karazal's consortium. And by filling it, we provide new means for our fishermen, our artisans, and others to bring their wares to distant markets.
And I mean, everywhere's gonna need to like rebuild, and granted, I think like maybe like imported goods might be considered a luxury, but at the same time, if like the whole world kind of trades their resources and helps supplement what others lack, I mean, that can be a really important thing for everybody, right?
And what of the children who were left without family to care for them?
Orphanage!
That is a concern which weigheth heavily upon my mind. A simple gift of coin will soon
Vrtra can just adopt all of them.
leaving these young souls adrift on the fringes.
And then we'll just have a little
society.
brood of orphans around Vrtra, and he'll be even more good and pure and adorable and wonderful. We got a lot of really good, excellent, wonderful characters, but I think Vrtra already is just like so fantastic. The only thing that could make him even more wonderful would be if he just has like a whole bunch of orphans around him that he adopted and gave a home. Just saying, I'm just saying.
A proper solution is needed, one which doth guarantee their welfare for years to come.
Well, Matya's a fisher, though. I was thinking of the baby there, too. And, like, who would feel compelled to try and do something like start an orphanage or...
Thou hast surely seen how other nations rise to meet this challenge, adventurer. What dost thou deem?
I'm gonna advise. What are my options? I mean, they need to be educated. They need a roof over their heads. They need food. They need education. They need taxes. Levy them on trade profits in exchange for your investment? What? What does that mean? I don't know nothing about taxes. A TurboTax just does it for me. But wouldn't that be taxing the people to try and provide for them when the people are already so taxed? I mean, it takes a village. This is rough.
I don't know. I was looking for like give them food and shelter. I mean, you have to pay for that from somewhere, I guess, but what would Arden say? Can you get them adopted by different families? I don't know. I'm gonna go for the second one because the first one is like, the moment I saw the word taxes, it was like static, fuzzed through my brain, and I went, not in my fantasy game. So I'm gonna do this one, I guess. I don't know if I particularly care for either. We'll do this one.
It takes a village.
Of course. We must all look out for one another.
Sorry, Vrtra, I realized that might not be the most helpful, but I don't know nothing about taxes.
Let us put this idea into practice. A contract shall be written, requiring all who receive Vrtra's treasure to commit a portion of their future earnings towards the running of an orphanage.
Sounds good.
Now, such an influential policy is deserving.
Oh, is it gonna be something about Ahawan? It totally is. Oh. Oh, I see, because in honor of him and everything that he sacrificed.
Something with Kalzal seems appropriate.
A fitting candidate.
Remember him for the good he did in his life, not what he became, you know?
Kalzal should be remembered.
Yes,
Not
yes,
as the
yes, yes.
blasphemy which terrorized Thavne, but as a hard-working and generous
He was
man
so burdened with his own, like,
brought much
responsibilities for
wealth to
Thavne
our
and the people that he
shores.
served. He pushed himself to the breaking point.
Do any among you object to this proposition? Many here lost loved ones to the beasts.
Yeah, but it's also hard to blame them, you know what I mean?
In that time of strife, any one of us could have broken. Any one of us may have been taken by despair. When I think of Kalzal, I feel no hatred.
Oh,
Only a stinging regret that we could not save him as well.
me too.
Isn't that right, men?
What is this man's face? What is? Oh my god! I just did like a tour. I looked at the guy with silver hair. I looked at the guy with the helmet. I looked at the girl with the side pony, and then I looked over at this man. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm sorry. This is a very serious moment. But this man's face is gonna haunt me forever. Oh my gosh. Oh, sorry, I'm just gonna block him out. Just gonna keep going. I can't look at that man's mug. I'll go back to look at this beautiful
This
dragon.
bodes well for that boy. Mirad, was it? Perhaps he can cut ties with that shady peddler.
Yes, and get his sister somewhere safe.
Then let it be done. Henceforth, this initiative shall be known as the Kalzal Foundation.
I wonder if there are like any actual true options in that. Like if you select the other one, if it has a different name. They don't normally do that, but kind of interesting.
Thou art to assemble a patrol and ensure that no child in this city liveth in squalor.
Aww. Good. Save all the babies. I think it was just something about the expression that he was making. Because he looks fine there. It's just like the way his face was.
See to the
killing me.
management of our funds and make haste. Our citizens must not suffer a day more than is necessary.
Dragon and man. side by side in pursuit of a brighter morrow. I'm reminded of Ishgard.
That's right, dragons should always be our best friends. That's the goal we need to make for all of our lives, both real and in fantasy worlds. Let's make dragons real, and then be best friends with them. I feel very strongly about this, in case anybody didn't notice. This is so good, though. Trying to help clean up in the wake of everything that had happened, making sure that, like, again, children who lost everything aren't, like, the most vulnerable and powerless of the people affected, you know, are being given a promising future, making sure the people of, you know, the people of Thavnair are also provided for and can get their livelihoods going again. Good positive steps forward.
Vrtra is warming to his role as satrap. Clearly, all those years behind the curtain were not spent in napping.
This veteran Radiant would like to give you his appreciation.
Thank you for putting forth Kozol's name. Those whose lives he enriched will take comfort in seeing his legacy honored. You will forgive me for not speaking sooner, but I bear a message from Archon Ishtola. She asks that you meet her at the High Crucible at your earliest convenience. Understood. Thank you. Ishtola must have finished her study of the Voidgate. Shall we hear what she has to say then?
I shall go with you.
I thought the satrap would be too busy setting up the foundation. My clerks have been the well-oiled cogs of this administration since before Ahewan assumed the office. They understand what needs to be done. And I am curious to learn what conclusions your Archon has reached concerning the gate's unique construction. As you wish. Allow me to lead the way, Your Excellency.
Let's go see a lady about a Voidgate. I'm just expecting us to get there, and Y'shtola has somehow made it like 5 times as large. She's like tossed somebody in there. She's like, what? I was just testing. What? Bridging the rift. Oh, she's over here. Okay. This has been such a good patch so far. It feels like we're getting just enough revelations, just enough things, just enough, you know, to really dig into that, again, doesn't feel like it's like meandering or like the pace is really slow because we made it through a 10-year story arc, or, you know, it feels like they have a good focus to this, a good push forward, a nice, like, I don't know, just direction that keeps us moving on, even as we are still kind of reeling from finally finishing the Heidel and Zodiac arc. It always feels redundant when I say that. Heidel and Zodiac arc. Like, I should just be like, the Heidel and Zodiac arc. Then that should do it. I don't know. It's just awkward to say. Saga. We could say saga, I guess.
Shall we hear what your scholarly comrade has to say? For one who claims it is too late to save his sister, Vrtra seems awfully interested in whatever revelations Y'shtola might have to share.
There she is. I too want to know. Are we going to the void, or is it happening like right away? Or is she going to be like,
right,
according to my research, we have 1,000 years before we'll be there?
You discovered something new.
I took a closer look at that device. I was able to determine how it keeps the Voidgate sealed, but not how it might instead be employed to expand the opening. For that, I would need to reference the technique developed by Vrtra's alchemists, no records of which appear to have survived the intervening years.
I mean, unless they were, and they were stored in one of the libraries or Great Google, or unless we're going to go back in time again. Just do a little more time walking, you know? Just have fun with it.
We know this, so why have you sent for us? Have you learned aught of value or not?
Does she think Vrtra remembers how to do it and is just being coy about it?
Patience, good sir. One must introduce the subject before launching into specifics.
Or wants us to try and tap into Vrtra's memories or something? I don't know. I'm just talking nonsense.
From what we understand, travel between worlds is accomplished by passing through the nebulous rift which exists between them. Picture, if you will, the moment you were called to the first.
Thinking back, going into my memories.
You touched a focus of some kind to help the Exarch pinpoint your location. His summoning spell then channeled
They're
the
actually
energies of the
honing in
Crystal
more
Tower
on this.
to begin your journey to his world. The magics tore a hole in the walls separating source and shard, and cast you into the intervening nothingness. In that place, the laws of nature hold no sway.
Yeah, the rift is a little bit intense. No wonder that, which Asking was La Habrea who hung out there and kind of just, like, lost
Yet even
it.
through this realm of temporal and spatial instability, you were borne safely to your destination in the first. The feat that guided you across such an unimaginable distance, both physical and metaphorical, was nothing short of a miracle.
And yet we pulled it off somehow.
Then what of the many Voidsent found in the source? Who guides
Oh.
them? How?
As in, they don't just break through? There has to be somebody
An
purposefully
excellent
doing
question.
it, thus the war.
Though there are several methods by which the Void's denizens might intrude upon our world, the rituals of summoning are the most typical.
Arden looks so, like,
For example,
angry.
let us consider the Gargoyle,
Somebody sending
a creature
Voidsent?
of middling power.
We've seen a lot of those. Oh, are they what are we are we gonna like participate in some kind of little Oh hey!
To call
This
upon
is where
such an
they come
entity,
in.
the prospective summoner must force open a Voidgate. The portal lasts but a moment and is relatively small, allowing only an imp or other lesser being to squeeze through with their physical body intact.
I believe these are the Lambs of Dalamud, so Amdapur and all these different areas that we've seen in some of the dungeons have like the cultists in them, right? Who channeled all of this. Are they gonna tie this all in like they were agents working for the other side or something in this war of darkness?
Our more powerful gargoyle, however, is too large for that. Creating a gate big enough for him would require vast amounts of energy, far beyond the reserves of any one mortal practitioner.
So many voidal landscapes. They
Instead,
have to be
it's far
working on
more
other
common
assets.
to bring over only the entity's soul. We had a taste of that ourselves when a certain exarch dragged us to the first.
Okay, and then it like reconstitutes its body on the other side or something? Through creation magics of some sort? Or like... so
And just as
many
our
dead
bodies remained in our
gargoyles.
world, the Void Sense physical form is left behind in the 13th.
They technically did, I mean, they had like spirit presences, right? And although they could interact with the world, there were certain limitations. So their manifestations existed, but oh, they put them into stone forms. Now, is that how we
Once
also
at its
see things
destination,
like...
the summoned soul is granted a temporary shell to inhabit. In the gargoyle's case, a stone effigy has proven a suitable vessel.
Is that how, like, we saw what in, like, Amdapur? I think that's light, or it's supposed to be, like, white magic that has infused a lot of the statues there. And I guess, you know, things like golems and stuff do exist, so that could just be a separate kind of thing, but it does seem like certain entities have a soul in them. When I think of the final boss, that is, she looks a lot like that, like Light Warden almost, or the, you know, like knightly kind of Sin Eaters that we see. There's that final boss in one of the hard mode Omnipore dungeons. I'm so bad at remembering dungeon names off the top of my head. I always think of them like 20 minutes later. Bear with me, everybody. Sometimes I get too carried away when I'm talking. And then I just race ahead to keep going and hope that you all know what I'm talking about. I think most of the time you do. Typically. Hopefully. But kind of like her, right? Like, she seems more than just like an animated stone construct. So having something like a form where they could be summoned into, or souls possessing something, it is interesting. That good void scent lore.
Wait. You said that void scent must be called here deliberately by someone in the source, reeled in like a fisherman with his catch.
Yes.
Exactly. For a being to navigate the chaos of the rift, with or without form, there must needs be a guiding agent on the other side.
Are we going to, like, is Asdaya going to become our guiding agent over to the void?
When the hordes poured forth from Alag's Great Gate, it was the technologists who drew them through. Though to my knowledge, planar fissures are in essence natural passages between our world and the void, which require no such guidance to traverse.
Okay.
Why is only the boundary between the source and the 13th so fragile? So much so that it often tears open of its own accord.
Because somebody's been pushing those boundaries or trying to, like,
I believe solving that
force
mystery
those
is
two
key
to
to
collide?
understanding travel between the source and its reflections.
And how do you intend to get your answers?
So it's like, I'll just go there. I mean, we have the, like...
The danger is too great.
We have the other group that are working on exactly this, right? So, like, over on the first, we have Onukalai and those, like, characters that are working on doing exactly this and have sent, like, puppets essentially in. So if they don't bring those together, I will be flabbergasted. I mean, they have to, right?
Perhaps. But what some call danger, others think of as adventure.
And we are adventurers now.
Were you not listening to my tale? Never
That
mind that the
smarmy
means to
little half
expand the gate has
smile.
been lost
That
to the
smirk.
ages. Even could you force the portal wide enough, you would be greeted by an army of murderous horrors the very instant you step through.
Sounds like a fun time. I'm ready.
I assure you I was most attentive. And I agree that to go alone would be certain death.
But we don't have to go alone,
But if
do
I were
we?
to bring along one who has already braved the 13th and humbled the cloud of darkness, well, I imagine my chances would be much improved.
Do I get to have a special, like, friend vacation with Ishtola? To go beat up a whole bunch of void scents in a perilous and hostile world that wants nothing more than to consume, alter, or destroy us? Count me in.
I had a feeling you might say that.
Arden's voice, I'm still finding it.
Once again, I put my life in your ever-reliable hands.
I will never let you go. And I will never let you down.
That said, as much as I would like to
Promise.
march straight back to the
I'll only
Voidgate,
sass you sometimes.
there is this small matter of being unable to open it without the Satrap's personal authority.
Oh, Ishtola, what? Well, I think we could just ask the Satrap, you know? Just nicely.
As I've said before, I will grant you and yours any boon you choose to name, provided it does not endanger my people.
We will be careful, I mostly
You
promise.
have my word that
We will
will take
intend to be
every
careful.
precaution. Not a single
But I
void
cannot
scent will be allowed
promise.
to threaten Vrtra. assuming we managed to expand the portal in the first place.
You have a plan.
Of course she does! She is Ishtola!
Actually, I had hoped you might help us with that. I presume the alchemists you retained supplied you with some explanation of their methodology.
Can you just like tell
That
me what
they
that
did.
was? And then we'll try to
House
figure it out.
Daymir was overseeing the project.
Daymir. Ah, yes. The family associated with the great work.
Oh, is our girl like a part of that family?
I did not fully comprehend the theory, but their research began with a void scent which had slipped through the fissure.
Okay.
After a thorough examination, they created an arcane simulacrum possessed of similar qualities.
Okay.
A man-made void scent, if you will. It was apparently indispensable in their efforts to enlarge the gate.
A man-made voice.
They didn't like corrupt some living thing. A simulacrum, so it would be like maybe just something
Yes.
infused.
Being great
with a ton
admirers of the
energy
Archons,
and ether.
House Daymir submitted detailed notes to Charlene's official committee. They expected praise and accolades for their simulacrum,
Oh no.
and were thus devastated to be informed that their work had been classified as prohibited material.
Down in the Great Google, the like prohibited section.
If that's true, then those notes might still be stored in a forbidden archive
Oh,
somewhere.
not Google.
Not Google, of course.
Oh, because this would have been
since that
thousands of
library
years
had
ago.
yet to
Or
be
a long,
built.
long time ago at least.
Which leaves us with...
The Numina, with Gra's favorite place to sneak around with... What? They're all really good, but we're gonna go for this one. With Graha's favorite place to sneak around.
Indeed. Numenon's restricted stacks may very well hold a copy. In which case, I say we head directly to Charlene.
Unless you anticipate needing help to reach the high shelves. I see myself being of little use. Go on ahead. I still
You're
need
so
to find
tall. Let me
Mirage
climb on your
to
shoulders.
Calzal's
I used to be as tall as you, Estinian, but now I'm just a little tiny Midlander. I definitely need your help. You can jump me up there. I'll feed you. You know what? I'll pay you for your time and dried squid. I'm just saying. I guess helping orphans also important, but dried squid though.
Let us be on our way as well.
I am also so looking forward to them redoing the graphical stuff and the lights and the shadows, because I think we've all been there. There is just something about the way the light hits your character's
They are
face
resolved to venture
sometimes.
into the void. Do I sit idly by?
Is he gonna come with us? No, he can't leave his people. He could make like a buff grown-up simulacrum and then send that simulacrum through with us, right? Oh, Varshan's still here. Let's talk to him. Oh, he's pensive. He's just thinking. Okay, we won't talk to him then. And we'll let him be. He's got a lot on his mind right now. There's a lot of stuff going on.